Okay, I'm going to use this question to tell a story about people we encountered yesterday. So, I'm going to tell this on Catching Up with Katie too. But I don't know. I'm always baffled by other people's actions sometimes where I'm like, what is causing you to do that? We left yesterday. It was like a 12-hour journey yesterday. Actually, more than 12 hours. But we checked out at like noon. And then when we got to the airport, I was car sick. Okay. It is very like stop and go there because of the speed bumps. And it was so hot in the van. Like I already get car sick. So I was car sick. I've gotten a little bit better since I've been home, but there for like a day and a half or 2 days of the trip, I felt pretty miserable. I was very congested, ears hurt, head hurt, nose just like running like incessantly, could not get it to quit. And so when we got to the airport, I like did not feel very good. And so we got pulled to the side. It was American Airlines. There was no Delta. Usually we do Delta. It was American Airlines. And because we had priority tickets, they were like, hey, you can go to this shorter line. So we went to this line and we were like the next people up. So mind you, I have resting bitch face. I just do. And so I'm going to like mimic probably how my face looked. That's probably how I looked, okay? Because I was just standing there blank-faced. Didn't feel good. Nauseous. Congested. Ears hurt. My phone, there was no service, so I wasn't like scrolling on my phone. And so we're standing there with our bags, and the people in front of us, truly like me and Jonathan, weren't even conversing. We were just standing there minding our own business, just kind of like, spaced out. So the people in front of us, it was 4 people traveling together. They each had, I honestly didn't count their bags, but they had a trolley of bags. Now, I don't know how long their trip was. So maybe they had a really long trip and they each had multiple bags. I don't know, but it was a lot of bags. And so it was a man and 3 women. I don't know what their relationship was. Actually I do. I know 2 of them were cousins because they told me. And so like, we were standing there and it got to where it was a long time. They were taking quite a long time with their bags. And, I'm admiring the man that they're with, his turquoise hair, long turquoise hair. At one point he looks over and makes eye contact with me and I give him one of these, like, just like a little smile, like not anything crazy. Again, I'm just spaced out minding my own business. And so he keeps looking at me again, I think probably just at my resting bitch face. And then he goes and like starts whispering to, there's an older woman and then 2 that were probably like in their early 30s. And then starts like whispering to them and like looking back at me. And I'm a little bit like, I'm like half aware. And then the main girl who, I'm just going to say it, she was pretty loud. Everyone knew of her presence when she was doing this conversing with getting her bags on the thing. She turns around to me and looks at me and goes, are you having a bad day? You're just having a bad day. Oh, I don't want to leave either. You don't want to leave? We don't want to leave either. Out of the blue. And I'm just like, what? Like I was shocked. Okay. And Jonathan's oblivious next to me. He doesn't know anything that's happening. And what? Jonathan's listening to the stories I tell it. And so he's oblivious. I'm like, I have no clue what just happened. So she turns around. They take 15 more minutes. And she starts with her, I found out later, cousin, taking selfies. And I catch it as it happens. And I'm sure my face wasn't pleasant. Like to get me in the background of the selfie. I think they truly thought that I was like just so mad at them for taking long. I don't know. Or something. So then they start looking at it and pointing at it and looking at me and laughing at this selfie. And I'm like, this is the most insane behavior. So then they're just taking forever. They get gone. I'm like, these seem like the type of people where if you chirped the least bit, that they would take it that much higher. You know what I'm saying? Like there is no like trying to say something to him. I'm just like, I'm minding my own business. I could not care, honestly. We get through and we stick with these people the entire way to every gate, to everything. Turns out she's sitting next to me on the airplane. And I'm like, oh Lord. And so we get seated, and me and Jonathan had accidentally not had our seats together. And she sits down, and her cousin was in a different seat, and they start trying to figure out how to get together. And I'm like, well, listen, I said, lady, my husband's over there. I would happily swap with however you need me to, so that I could sit with my husband. And so then they start, swapping around, and we made that work. So that was good. I truly don't know, after everything else that happened, I don't know how it would have went if we had sat together, because on the flight, I honestly slept a little bit of it. So some of this is being relayed by Jonathan. Multiple, over five, closer to 10 drinks apiece. Okay. These ladies, it was a 4-hour flight. They started off very sweet to the flight attendants, being like, oh my God, Mary, we love you, Mary. You're so beautiful. Our flight attendant was an elderly woman. She was very sweet. So they start off like that, overly nice. But then they start drinking. They start, at one point, the woman gets up and just goes and rummages through the fridge up front. And we're like, what? They get rowdy. The other woman they were with comes back to their seats and starts sitting in the middle of them. And they get so rowdy that the flight attendant comes over and asks them to be, a little quieter. They have to calm down. And they start being so they start patting her and be like, okay, we've heard enough. Okay, we're done. Okay, you can go now. Saying that to the flight attendant. Insane work. Then when they are asked to be quiet, it swaps from them being super sweet to them being like, oh, well, this is the worst flight we've ever been on. Is this a Spirit Airlines? Is this we can't even get a GD water around here, just being so entitled. And so mind you, they keep dropping oh, well, you should have seen what we were doing in Europe last month. Oh, you should, it was so embarrassing on their part. Honestly, it seemed very entitled. It was just wild to me. And so I'm petty because she told everyone her name. She asked me my name. I told her my first name. I wouldn't give her my last name. So she was telling everyone her name. And so I went and looked her up. And tell me why this woman has every single post. It's a Bible verse. Every single anything is, God bless me with da-da-da-da. And I'm just like, you are one of the worst behaved adults in person I've ever seen. Truth. Literally, it was so obnoxious and rude. And it just checks out.